welcome to our Canopy Connect Agency MVP Indie Cover webinar. This webinar today is going to talk a little bit about Canopy Connect and what Canopy Connect can do for your agency, as well as how Canopy Connect integrates with Agency MVP. And we have some special guests here, Bo and Jonathan from Indie Cover Insurance. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. We don't want to miss any of your questions. And the Q&A box is just the easiest way to make sure we get to all your questions. So again, if you have any questions throughout, please put them in the Q&A box. So as I mentioned, we have Ray here from Canopy Connect. He is the head of marketing there, and he's helped dozens of startups and growth companies over his 20 years of experience. So he is great. We've been working with him for a really long time. And then we have Bo, who is a former top-ranked farmers insurance agent. Just this past year in 2022, he started Indie Cover, an independent agency, which has already become one of the fastest growing agencies in North Texas. And we have Jonathan, who is the sales manager at Indie Cover. He's been in insurance for almost 10 years and also has experience working in both the captive and the independent world. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ashley. I am the Director of Operations at Agency MVP, and I am here to just help your agency continue to grow. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with Ray. For those of you who are not familiar with Canopy Connect, Ray is going to tell you all about it. So go ahead, Ray.
All right. Thanks, Ashley. Appreciate you having me on and having all of us on. So for just a quick overview, I don't want this to be overly pitchy here, but Canopy Connect is essentially your fastest way to collect insurance information from your prospects, right? So why do you need insurance information? Whether that's you're getting it through your deck page or you're getting it through asking them 5,000 questions, right? You're going to want that just so you can understand the status quo, right? What's the baseline of what you're dealing with? Because unless it's a brand new policy, most of the time they're going to be in some sort of switching some or all of their policies over to you. That's what you're hoping to get, right? So you're going to want to understand what that baseline is. And if you go in there and I've heard conversations like, oh, I don't really need to quote off of a deck page, of someone else's deck page. I'd rather do my own work and figure out what they need. Regardless of all that, there's always a baseline. There's always an assumption of like what the status quo is. And I think that's kind of a critical piece that Canopy Connect definitely helps solve in getting that information in a real efficient way. So some of the challenges, that are there inherently with trying to collect a deck page or gather that information for your prospects, right? If it's an online situation, you're dealing with long forms, multiple pages of forms, asking VIN numbers, all your driver information, your house number, what's your foundation made out of, what's your roof made out of, all the things. You guys are asking these all the time. No one wants to fill out that long of a form. You don't want to fill out that long of a form, right? And you don't want to be asking necessarily the 25, 35 questions that kind of need to be asked. Let's cut the fat out of it, get the information, and let you move on to having the actual conversation, right? Building rapport, building trust, becoming that advisor. I think that's really important. You need to spend less time, what I call interrogating your prospect, and more time building rapport, right? Be the good cop in the situation. But what I was mentioning, like the way that it's traditionally been done takes time, whether that's with a form, whether that's through asking a question. You're looking at 15, 20, 30 minutes of your time spent getting that information, not building trust, not being an advisor. And I'm sure Bo was going to go into all that. And it's making that shift. Canopy Connect's there helping you make that shift from doing that to let's just get it in like 30 seconds. It's verified because of the process that we get it, the methodology that we get it. It's not like a pre-fill from some database that is 6, 12, 18 months old. It's the data that they're getting right now. How it works essentially is when you sign up with Canopy, you get a link. It's your own custom link, and you can have links for each of your producers for different purposes. If it's for different channels that you want to track, you take that link, you send that out to your prospects, whether it's through Canopy Connect or through an agency MVP automation. You're sending out a Canopy link to your prospect. That prospect's going to get that link. They're going to be presented with kind of a, hey, this is what Canopy Connect is. Here's all the carriers. They're going to select their carrier from a list. We've got a list of 250, 300 carriers now between personal lines and commercial. They're going to select their carrier or sign into their current carrier. And that's basically all they have to do on their end, right? If they need to, they can reset their password or create an account. But most of the time, especially in this day and age, after 3 years of COVID and people just kind of figuring out how to work online, it's like people know their passwords or they have it saved in their phone or wherever. They log in and they're done. On your end, 10, 20 seconds later, you're going to get a little alert that says, hey, Ashley's submitted her information. You pop in there, you can view all that insurance data. We're talking their auto policies, home policies, driver information, and enriched property data if you have that enabled, and contact information. So you have all that information sucked in. So in a matter of seconds, 30 seconds, you'll get that, and that'll sync over to agency MVP, and you can start working that, building out your quote, figuring out, hey, this is a really weird thing in your current policy, or here's a gap, and we can help solve that. That's your job, right? Figure it out. But our job here at Canopy Connect is, hey, let's get you the information so you know what you're talking about. And just to give a quick context of the amount of data I mentioned, we've got somewhere like 300 carriers. From a market standpoint, we're covering 95% of your the auto insurance market, 90% of the home market, and we've got a majority of the commercial carriers as well. And there's more than 7,000, I think it's close to 7,500 agents now using Canopy Connect daily to just cut all this fat out of their process. So that's a quick kind of overview. And if you guys have any questions about that, go ahead and ask that in the Q&A. But I'm going to hand it over to the experts, right? The people that are actually going to give you some real advice here. So I'm going to hand things over to Bo. Bo is, we'd mentioned he's a top agent here, was a top agent at Farmers, started Indie Cover. I'll let you go into your own story.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Thanks for having me on. Just to give you guys a little background into how I got into insurance, I was working for a financial firm called Mass Mutual, selling life insurance only right out of college. And my uncle actually had a farmer's agency. And so he said, you need to look into the PNC side, the renewals. So talked to the district manager that my uncle was with. And I ended up being in training for that district manager for 6 years. So did that for 6 years, learned a lot. When I first started out, it was kind of more old school. You went and met with every prospect. You went over what was called the VIP, which was, what they currently have, and then, up in the coverages, and you go line by line. Again, trying to meet with everybody. On the X dates, I remember an agent showing me like a Rolodex of their X dates. So it was very, very old school how we first started training. And as the years have progressed, as everybody knows, it's kind of gotten digital and everything's over the phone. So whenever I bought my agency with Farmers about 5 years ago, it was about 800 policies. And I just had me and my wife when we first started. We were just doing social media, networking, referrals, just like everybody else does. And then after the first year, we were actually down PIF. So I had to look at our business plan, kind of what I've been teaching with this whole time at Farmers, and I talked to some of the top agents at Farmers, and they all said, if you want to scale, you need to get better technology. So that's whenever I met Todd, looked into agency MVP, and we started using agency MVP, which ranks your leads and prospects and has automation, and Ashley will get more into that. But once we got MVP, I hired a telemarketer, started buying some leads, calling a lot of those on my own, and then hired my first producer. And then after about a year and a half, we ended up actually being top 10 or top 20 in Texas for personal lines the last 3 years. And about a year and a half ago, we actually started using Canopy Connect with agency MVP. So as an agency owner, and I found out the hard way, when we first started buying leads, we were just kind of buying them, calling them whenever we got to them. Didn't really have a process of how we were going to follow up with them. So I wasted a lot of money. And my producer too, I'm listening to phone calls and he's constantly chasing information. So, the more and more I talk to agents, it's all about streamlining the process and getting the best ROI that you can for your producer and the leads that you're buying. So if you're going to buy leads or if you're doing anything, really, I think automation is key. And then also once you get somebody on the phone or talk to somebody, not having to call that person, 2 or 3 times to get the deck page, the information. I'm sure all the agents on here know, and you've heard your producers call, 2 or 3 times to get, the liability limits or what they're paying. And then half the time, the prospect doesn't even know what they're paying. So having the integration with MVP and Canopy Connect has just saved so much time for us and saved so much money on the back end. And Jonathan kind of speak more to this, but it's just saved us, it's streamlined the process tremendously. So now we're looking at 1 call closes versus 2 or 3 calls down the line. So the whole, my whole motto now is just, I want to streamline everything if it's, going from telemarketing to getting, Jonathan Canopy Connect integration, integrating with lead vendors. I really want my producers just focusing on closing deals and not chasing information. And that's the greatest thing I think that MVP integrated with Canopy Connect shows you is that, once you utilize them both correctly and get it down, you already have their deck page. So you've taken a lot of that time away from the prospect and nobody has time anymore. So I think it just is a big time saver. And again, I just want Jonathan really working on closing deals and not having to chase. So that's why I'm going to use telemarketers. That's why, whenever MVP and Canopy Connect integrated together and I saw this, it was pretty awesome, especially coming from like the old school of like when I first saw my uncle, he had a Rolodex of X dates. So going from that to what it is now, it's kind of mind-blowing. So, and then we have the files there in MVP. It has the current candidate information. So again, it helps our telemarketers, it helps Jonathan's producers. And again, and the biggest thing for me and as an agency owner, Jonathan can write, what 2 or 3 producers wrote 3 or 4 years ago because we're trying to streamline everything. So instead of having to hire 3 or 4 producers, I've got 1 producer that can write as much as 2 or 3 were in the past. And as an agency owner, especially with competition now, the way that everything's going, I think that you really have to streamline things to make a profit in this industry. So that's kind of just an overview. Jonathan can kind of get into more of the weeds of how it actually, works and the processes. But as an agency owner, again, we want to just try to streamline everything and get an ROI for our leads and for our producers. So, like I said, I'll hand it off to Jonathan. He's been in insurance for over 10 years. He's our top guy, top sales manager. So he can kind of get into more of the other details.
Yeah, of course. Thanks. So the way that I use Canopy Connects. It's really great. I have it on my business cards. I have it saved on my phone for if I don't have a business card. It just makes it really simple and easy when you're talking to a prospect to say, hey, let me send you a quick link, sign into your carrier, and you don't have to remember any of the topics you spoke about, any of their coverage information at the time, because not all the time we're ready, especially if we're just out networking. I have a QR code, like I said, back in my business card. Say, hey, just scan it. It takes about 30 seconds for you to fill it out. And then all the information comes into MVP. The policy number, what the current coverages are, who's a listed driver, the vehicles with the VIN numbers, all that information gets placed into MVP for me as a prospect. So I don't even have to fill in any of that extra data work to transfer from Canopy Connects to MVP. And then it just makes it real simple to say, hey, you only have liability coverage when you thought you had full coverage. So it's easier to speak to your clients as far as making them understand what coverages they have and what they don't have. Because as a producer, we've been in this insurance game for a very long time. Oftentimes and not, they're not going to know what they're paying for or what coverages they have, what deductibles they have. So it makes it real simple for us to just go in there and look and then just point out the holes. And then it makes you, like Ray said, it makes you look like the good cop. We do have a few slides as far as text templates and things that I use in the office, just to make it real easy for these clients to get, familiar with what we're doing. So if you see here, it's if you didn't close them and you're trying to re-engage with the client, you just send them this quick text. It has the Canopy link here. It tells them it's only going to take about 30 seconds. So it's really simple and easy. And I think there's a couple of more. Yeah, and so this is for a prospect. So let's say you get in an EverQuote lead or a Quote Wizard lead or any lead that internet leads are buying. You can always send this text template to them if you have them on the phone. I feel like a lot of people communicate via text message a lot now, and as opposed to over the phone because nobody has time. So this 30 seconds will, like the text message says, it'll save you about 30 minutes worth of work and all that call back and forth between you and the prospect. And the other thing that I really like about Canopy Connects and the integration, again, is it saves you on the data entry. The data entry is probably the longest part about being in the producer because you're always having to go back in and type things in. But with it all just porting in for you, just makes it way easier.
Yeah, and I'll add, there's so many places with manual data entry where things can break down, right? They could tell you the wrong information half the time. They don't. Right. They don't know what they're doing, or they're just kind of, well, I think that's what I had. And then there's that travel of okay, did you write it down right? And then now, you wrote it down in your notepad or your, kept a mental note. And then now you're going to go into MVP or your rater, and you're going to try to type all that back out. That's another point where you could make a mistake or an error, or whether that's or just a mistype, right? And it's time. So it's both the time of data entry as well as the accuracy of not doing data entry.
Well, thank you everyone for sharing. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little bit about Agency MVP for those of you that are not familiar with it. So Agency MVP is a smart lead management system. And what it does is it ranks and prioritizes your leads and prospects in order of who's most valuable and who's most likely to close. So this is what Agency MVP looks like here. Again, you see that my households are ranked in order of who's most valuable, who's most likely to close. And that's going to be based on the information that you're putting in there. So the cool thing is, since Canopy Connect integrates with Agency MVP, as everyone has mentioned, all of that information, all their deck pages, that's all going to come directly into their specific profile in Agency MVP. You will even see their deck pages uploaded into the file section. And then you're going to have all of their current carrier information in here. And then you'll be able to go ahead and do your quote as well. Agency MVP is integrated with all major lead providers. We are also integrated with raters such as EasyLinks, PL Rater, Turbo Rater. And with our copy to clipboard, you can essentially copy the data and paste it into whichever carrier you are going to be doing your quote in. Now, as far as how to integrate with your Canopy Connect account with Agency MVP, it's very simple. We have those directions on our help and support page, but you're going to find in your Canopy Connect account this information in here and basically just paste it in here. Again, we do have step-by-step directions, but this is where you're going to go ahead and put all of that information in from Canopy. And Ray mentioned that each producer can have their own Canopy code or URL. So each producer can also go ahead and put in their unique Canopy link in here for their MVP account as well. Now, if you are wanting, if you have a lead that came in and you're sending them the Canopy Connect link, you are going to want to do that within Agency MVP. So there's two ways. Either send the Canopy link to someone within your MVP account so that their information fills into their profile, or if you meet someone like at the grocery store, like Jonathan said, and you say, hey, fill out this scan this QR code so you can fill out the Canopy link, that person who fills it out is going to come into Agency MVP as a brand new internet lead. So either way, if they're already in MVP and you send them that link, it'll fill in whatever is missing. Or if it's someone that you've never met, you don't have them in your MVP account, they'll just come in as a brand new lead. Now, there's kind of two ways that I would recommend using this Canopy Connect link within your MVP account. The first one is within a workflow. So this is going to be your series of texts and emails. If you are wanting, I believe Jonathan had like a referral workflow that he uses. So, a renewal workflow that he uses. So if you have like an X-date renewal workflow in here that you're wanting to use, and maybe you didn't close that person, but you want to follow up at their renewal, we have the Canopy Connect link here as a variable field. And all you have to do is click this button here. And then whenever it sends this message to that lead, it's going to be associated with that person. So when they fill it out, it's going to fill in all their information in MVP. So that's one place that you can use that Canopy Connect link is through the variable field in a workflow. The other way that you can use the Canopy Connect link is through a text template. And this might be the one that you use most often. So text template here, you can create a new text template. You can name it, Canopy Connect. And you could have just a simple message that says, hey, here is the link I mentioned. Please fill it out. This could be for someone that you already spoke to, that they know that this link is coming to them so that they can fill it out. And then again, you're just going to use that variable field, Canopy Connect link, and then we'll save that. Now, when I go to send a message to this person, I'm just going to go ahead and pull up that Canopy Connect text template, and then it will send them the link in here that's associated with this person's specific account. So very simple to use that Canopy Connect link and to insert the links into the text messages and workflows. All right, so that's kind of how that Canopy Connect integration works with Agency MVP. Did anyone have anything else you wanted to add? Bo, Ray, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, there's a question that came up in the chat that just asked if all the campaigns linked within Agency MVP. Are all the campaigns linked with Agency MVP because they don't currently have Agency MVP, it seems like. Within Canopy Connect as a standalone service, there are email and text templates. They're more one-off templates, like you want to respond to someone right away, and you can send those and embed your link. I think with the Agency MVP integration, that's much more enhanced in the sense that you're able to build them
into your MVP templates and workflows where you can be setting like a drip campaign. So that's kind of a big distinction there, as well as being able to once you pull in that data, it comes back and syncs it from like a database standpoint. So you're connecting that insurance data pool with the lead record, or I don't know what your terminology is specifically, but like the household or lead within MVP, and then you can do the rater integrations and things like that. So just some distinctions on how it works as a standalone and kind of how it's enhanced working together.
Yes, hopefully that answered your question, Lita. Then we have another question. And again, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box just to make sure we don't miss any of them. So how does Easy Links work inside of the system? Great question. So if you have an Easy Links account, you're able to connect that account with MVP. Then when you're ready to do your quote, you will see a send to Easy Links button appear right here. This is going to give you a URL. You'll click that URL. It'll take you to Easy Links. It will transfer over some of that basic content information. You'll do your quote in Easy Links, and then whatever quote you're ready to present to the household, that's what you're going to put in here. So that's how the Easy Links works. TurboRater does have a two-way integration with MVP if you use TurboRater, which means you can send the data to TurboRater, and then you can choose, you can pull the data, the policies that you want to present from TurboRater so that they appear back into your agency MVP account. All right, we have another question. With agency MVP, once a prospect becomes a client, does agency have the ability to import prospect info over to an AMS, such as Hawksoft? So we do have an integration with Hawksoft specifically, I will say that. But right now, we are currently not integrated with an AMS. So remember, agency MVP is going to be focused on lead management so that you can close more new business. So once you mark a policy as sold in MVP, you can still see them here like as a customer, and you'll still be able to identify cross-sell opportunities. But to answer your question in short, no, we cannot import or send info to an AMS. But yes, we do have an integration with Hawksoft. And if you go to our help and support page and type in Hawksoft, you can find some more information there. All right. So if we are having an issue with people pulling into Canopy but not coming over to MVP, should we ask you for help or Canopy support? Go ahead and use that live chat at the bottom right in Agency MVP. Send us the name of that household that you notice maybe went into Canopy and didn't go into MVP. And then we can have our team take a look and further, let you know, okay, maybe we need to contact Canopy or if it's something we can do to fix it. Good question, Hannah. Will you be able to show a comparison of two carriers alongside the client original plan? So you're saying show two quotes, like two separate options versus what they currently have, I believe is what you're saying. Okay, so you can put in multiple quotes here. So right here, this is like one quote. And then if I want to add in another vehicle quote, you can definitely do that. And then when you pull up, just put a number in here. Let me just show you what that would look like on the quote comparison. So if I pull up the quote comparison here, where is my auto quote? So it's going to show the Farm Bureau versus what they currently have versus my quote here. And then it's going to, again, show Farm Bureau versus the other quote that I'm offering them. So it won't show all three of them at the same time, but it will, you are able to show them the two separate quote options. All right. Well, let me go ahead and put up one more slide for you guys. We do have a promotion here. So if you are a Canopy Connect customer and you are new to Agency MVP, you can use this code MVPCC22 to get 15% off your first year with Agency MVP. So that's for people who are new to Agency MVP that are Canopy Connect customers. And then Canopy Connect, if you are an MVP customer, then you sign up for Canopy Connect and use code MVP10, 10% off. And there is the URL as well, so that you guys can go to that Canopy Connect page. Another question is texting per user or per account. So with Agency MVP, you get 3,000 text messages for free every month for your account. Bo, we do have a question for you. How are you marketing Canopy Connect?
That's more for Jonathan, I would believe, right? Does he use you can just go over some scenarios that you use it, whenever you use it.
Yeah, of course. So if, let's say you get a referral, and what I always tell people is, let me send you over a quick link. Just sign into your current accounts, and it'll send me all the information that I need to provide you with the most accurate quote. I just send it to them, and I have never had a problem with somebody saying, no, I don't want to fill that out, especially if they're a referral. It just makes it so much easier. It gives you maybe a little bit more credibility as far as making sure that you're providing them a true apples to apples comparison. Or if not, you can always add more coverages to what they already have.
And I think we've had better success too once we get a hold of somebody and talk to them, sending the link. We've tried to do it in initial campaigns or workflows before we talk to somebody. But I think Jonathan's had more success once there's some kind of interaction.
Right. They just want to make sure that you're a real person and not a robot, just sending them over a link. So you just, initial quick text like, hey, this is Jonathan with IndyCover Insurance. You're looking for a quote. Let me send you over a quick link so that I can gather your declaration pages or just your information so I can provide you with the most accurate quote.
And I believe you mentioned before you've put it on Facebook as well, right?
Put it on Facebook, Instagram. Like I said, at the back of my business card. I've saved the link on my phone for if I don't have a business card, because it just makes it so much easier just to, like Ray said, just if you write down something incorrectly, you just have all that accurate information from their carrier.
Another question from Roger, does Agency MVP assign texting numbers or can we use our own number? So when you register for MVP, we do purchase a phone number for you from Twilio. Now, if you already have a Twilio phone number, I'm pretty sure we can port it over to your MVP accounts for you. Otherwise, then yes, we will purchase a phone number for you, a texting number. We will try our best to get it to match the area code of your office number. And then whenever they text you, you can receive text, you can send text out. All those texts will go directly to your Agency MVP account. And if they happen to call that texting number, we'll just forward it to your office line. I'll go ahead and put the Agency MVP link if you want to click there. And the coupon code one more time is MVPCC22 to get 15% off for your first year. You also get a free 2-week trial to try it out. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Again, we will be posting a recording of this webinar in case you missed anything. Always feel free to reach out to us, Ray over there at Canopy, or you can reach out to me here at Agency MVP. Again, thanks so much, and you guys have a great rest of your day.